Like we're not recording yet.
No.
It's fine. We can delete it later. Like the typical like school shooter is a sociopath. The typical CEO is often more of a psychopath.
Psychopaths can tend to be more manipulative.
Yeah.
Can be seen by others as charming.
Yeah.
Lead a resemblance of a normal life and minimize risk in criminal activities.
That's where I think more narcissists sit. I was wrong.
Sociopaths tend to be more erratic,
Yeah.
rage prone, and unable to lead much of a normal life.
Yeah, because they don't mimic the norm as well.
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like, yeah, which is scarier because I think they tend to be more insane and do more insane things. But at least you can like pick them out.
Yeah.
Where the psychopath or the narcissist, because they're like a chameleon, potentially could be more detrimental.
Yeah. Psychology researchers believe that that sociopaths tend to be born. It's likely a genetic predisposition, while sociopaths tend to be made by their environment.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah, which is not to say that psychopaths may also tend to suffer some sort of childhood trauma. Psychopathy might be related to physiological brain differences. Research has shown psychopaths have underdeveloped components of the brain commonly thought to be responsible for emotion regulation and impulse control.
Something I've learned in my therapy is I didn't know ADHD, for many, not all, have or may have a large emotional control aspect as well, rather than just actually what you would think, which is like an attention issue.
Yeah, there's a whole like set of things that ride along with it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, like an emotional, control. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fucking show. Brought to you by no one except for 3sb.co. That's us. Today, I think we're going to try to make it lighthearted, huh? Because otherwise it gets too dark.
Yeah, it could get really dark. And they're probably the reason why I decided that we should do this on our own as opposed to talking to a professional about it. While that would be more ideal.
Yeah, we may get there. Yeah,
we may get there. I think that the issue is like what if in your like darkest moment of thinking, am I dealing with someone who got a serious mental illness problem? You're not gonna listen to maybe a variety of different people on the topic. You're gonna like go to the internet and pull up the list.
I think you're unique in even just saying this.
Really?
I think most people, maybe long term, but I think most people in the short term that deal with someone of what we're about to speak of tend to probably go too much introspective and be more caught up in like a victim mentality than to seek real answers. Because you're speaking really clearly now, because of stuff you and I have dealt with, or many humans, is in your past, and you can look back.
Yeah.
But if it's like going on, I don't think you're doing it. I think if it's going on, you're stuck in like the chaos. Maybe rather than thinking clearly like, wow, is this person not level-headed? You're thinking like, fuck, what's going on? What did I do wrong? Or what should I do? You know what I mean? Point is, we're talking sociopaths.
We're talking about sociopaths.
Or like narcissists. And we've talked about this for a long time as... not only is like the everything's a bell curve here, right? And so it's all about people tending to be more selfish or more manipulative or whatever, and some people on the opposite side, more like a codependent side, being more easily taken advantage of or too open or bad at setting boundaries, et cetera, et cetera. And then obviously the bell curve, hopefully most people are in the middle and have a decent control on all these things. But we talk about like CEOs in business. That's a big topic we talk about here in general. And then mental health and relationships through that, which obviously highly impact your mental health. CEOs, they say, are whatever, 40%, 50% narcissists up in that level. And there's no stat on it, but multiple therapists I've dealt with personally, talking about like our general career, like not only fitness, which tends to be slightly more shallow, not everyone, there's plenty of good friends of ours that are pro bodybuilders that really do seek it as a individual thing and not look at me, I'm sexy thing. But large, broadly, fitness industry is very shallow. Then you bring in social media and some type of fake fame, public figureness to it. And then you bring in the explosion of it over the last 10 years, or even over the last 50 years since pumping iron and shit. Fitness has been on the rise in popularity or pop culture, but 10 years of social media. And you combine all three of those and the type of personalities you might get involved with or we might have crossed paths with or you guys might follow on the internet. And there is a small niche out there of great people, and we're very lucky to make friends with a lot of them. And there's also people that maybe think they're doing right by calling these people out, calling out like the scammers or the fakes or whatever. And there's obviously drama and scandals, but rather tackling the drama and scandals, which would make this podcast much more popular, we're just going to actually go to the root of what the issues may be, and just talk through, I believe, a list of like 21 things you said.
It depends on which list you look at. There's like, there's shorter and longer lists.
Yeah, so we're going through lists of things that may show strong signs of someone on this, personality disorder-ish.
And before we get started, I'm going to open my first.
Have you never had one?
Topo Chico? No.
So
this stuff is popular.
Since no one has sponsored us yet, you bastards. I've had Liquid Death, which is making a large social media push, I think, for not only water being in a can, but their branding's good and their story's good. But they literally say on their website they've made their sparkling water, they talk about like ounces per millisquare or whatever the fuck. They made theirs more like beer, so it's less carbonated.
Oh.
And I think Topo Chico's highly carbonated.
Oh, yeah, this is a poor choice already.
Oh, really? I love that.
It's good, but I'm going to burp my brains out.
Yeah, I love that.
Diet Coke level burp.
So that's also why I think we talked about this too. I've never drawn a line in my Coke Pepsi argument. My dad was a Coke guy. Like the world knew him as a Coke guy.
Yeah.
I never drew the line because they all tasted good enough for me. They're like similar enough. But recently I'm a Diet Coke guy because I think it has the most amount of bubbles, and I got an oral fixation deal.
Well, I can't prove this, but I have read before that flight attendants don't love it when you order Diet Coke because it takes longer to pour a Diet Coke.
Because of the bubbles, probably.
Because of the bubbles. It's like pouring a
They can get over it.
Yeah, it's like pouring a brown ale in Ireland where you got to go through that whole like process of
where's she
waiting
going
for the foam to
We're
settle
stuck on this fucking plane for 3 more hours.
This is a good question.
Yeah, she can
she
wait.
wants to sit her ass back down.
We can wait. I watched some. Yeah, I think it was during COVID. My timeline's fucked, but there was like a Zac Efron healthy ayahuasca life venture docuseries. Did you see that?
No.
So Zac Efron went on like a lifelong search, and he was just like traveling the world looking at different shit. And of course, one was ayahuasca, but one was just water. He just talked about water, and he did like a water tour of Europe and like a deep dive into expensive water and non-expensive water, and a lot of it has to do with obviously mineral content, what makes it like super expensive or like nice or what people like, and then bubble content. And I do love a Topo Chico, which is highly, highly bubbly.
It's very bubbly, mineral water. I don't taste the mineral as strong as like a Dasani.
And you like that or don't like that?
I like Dasani.
Yeah, I like Dasani
I
too.
would bathe in Dasani if given the opportunity, but there's no bubbles there.
Yeah. I don't know why I got a bubble deal. I need some bubbles in my life. Like I'll drink regular water. I drink it all day in this beautiful water bottle, but if there's bubbles involved, I'll literally chug it. I bought this highly pretentious Tahoe Lake spring water from the co-op. It was like fucking $6 or something absolutely stupid. It was a big bottle and it's glass, but holy fuck is it good. And then you're like, fuck, can I justify $6 water? And I'm like, yeah. I feel like life is so short. My dad used to say like, why do you make money if it's not to spend it?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, $6 water, fuck it. It's not like I drink beers all day or something. You know what I mean? Like people do that all the time. Yeah. If you have one beer a night or go out to a beer.
Our $12 espresso in New York.
Yeah, I like that. I'd rather do that. Even like the coffee I drink now. Like if I'm going to go get a coffee, I do drive through Starbucks because it's just so convenient. But like I don't mind spending our $9 latte downtown. Where people complain about that so much, but then they're never complaining about a bar tab.
No, that's true. The same people.
Yeah. I just heard on the news radio too. I think it was in New York. Some places trying to. They're already like a stupid expensive, and I think you and I went to one in Vegas one time, like a burger spot with like $80 burgers and shit. I think you were with us. They have a $200 French fry.
Oh, good God!
With edible gold flakes, and like foie gras and all that shit. Like
I don't want to have to pan my poop later.
I kind of do, just because of that Dave Chappelle skit where he talks about he has a salt grinder and it's diamonds in there, and he was talking about making his dookie sparkle. And he's putting it on like a T-Rex egg or something. He has like a $1 billion. It's like a fake MTV Cribs, I think.
Yeah, that's the one with the Cambodian breast milk.
Yeah, and he has some like T-Rex egg he's trying to crack and fucking cook. Yeah, I don't mind my dookie sparkling from $200 fries. Like that's like I don't know, man. What else am I gonna spend $200 on and have that good of a story?
You're paying for the story at that
right.
point. And a little bit of the experience.
And maybe it tastes good.
But more the experience of telling the story later on. Almost
a lifelong story. Where $200 could easily be a bar tab for 5 of us. And that story's not going to be good.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, we each have 3 beers. That's not a good story.
Well, unless somebody's telling a fucking great story or something.
No, it's going to suck.
It probably sucks.
But we're eating gold and we get sparkling dookies, and then now...
I don't need my dookie to sparkle.
I'm a legend.
I really, really do not want to have the compulsion to, like... pan for gold in my toilet. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I really do.
I have to say though that not last night before last, I had like a lot of watermelon and then tomatoes with dinner.
Yeah.
And yesterday morning, I was beginning to wonder if I was bleeding internally.
Experience.
I was not, however, but I thought about it.
Yeah.
It seemed like a real possibility. We don't talk about poop on this show to that extent. We've evolved past that. But
this is more educational.
But this is more, yeah.
Sparkling dookie.
Sparkling dookie.
Let's dive into the list. What's number 1 sign that I'm hanging out with a sociopath?
Do you?
Yeah. Oh, this is a test for me.
This is a test.
Maybe we could go through that like that.
We could.
I've questioned myself.
I think you're okay.
Have you questioned yourself?
Having previewed this list, I think you're okay. I think I'm okay.
Am I insane to have questioned myself?
For socio.
Yeah.
You're insane to question yourself.
Maybe not socio, but psycho. I've definitely thought I'm over there.
Well, we might have to do that one too.
I just think
it depends on how the clock runs. We might do narcissist and psychopath too.
And maybe this is an ego thing, but I've thought like, wow, and Kyle used to joke. I think he chilled out because he knew it was kind of real. He used to talk about how manipulative I am. He's like, there goes Mike manipulating again. And I call it charm. But the negative side of charm is manipulation.
Yeah.
They're cousins.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that some of that is just being a good judge of people and knowing how to get from point A to where you want to be.
That's where I know I would be like a solid lawyer because I do have that in me. I can throw, and if I'm up enough on a topic, I know I'm a good debater.
Yeah. Sam is here helping us. My other son Jake is a just master negotiator because he can get a view of what people really want, and then he figures out how to shade them toward whatever. Yes, it's manipulative, but no, it's not. It's benignly manipulative. Like it's an.
What's your goal?
It's an everybody benefits.
Yeah.
And I get what I want level of.
That's where I think or sales. I mean, that's what my dad was really good at that too. Yeah. I think I self-diagnosed that I'm not a psychopath because I don't use it for selfish things. Yeah, I'll use it in a joking conversation to prove I'm right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, first question.
Yeah,
first question is going to allay your fears a little bit here. The first question is: do you repeatedly lie to or trick others for your own gain or pleasure?
I don't repeatedly lie, but I do have noticed. I probably tell. I don't. You know the fuck. People say if you aren't telling the truth, you're lying.
I don't.
Do you know what I mean by that?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all.
You know what I mean? Like withholding the truth is not.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all because there are too many social good reasons. To not tell the entire truth.
I think so too.
Then I have no problem with that.
Then I'm not number one because I think I do that a lot. Not only because I'm like my circle's small, my brain's small, I'm small. You know, I keep it tight.
Yeah.
So then I just don't.
Yeah. So the this actually has a scale. It's not a yes or no. It's an always, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
I'm somewhere in the middle, probably.
You're a sometimes.
If we're considering those white lies or withholding the truth.
White lies.
White lies. I was told as a kid. I feel like all those kid shows, you know, they try to teach you morals. You know, they always like fit that in there somehow. Like even Fresh Prince and shit. They say white lies are so bad. Like there's an episode of Fresh Prince, Full House, Tool Time, like all those main shows that I grew up learning my morals from, besides the Catholic Church and my parents. There's always an episode of like how white lies spin into something huge.
There's a clip that I watched on Twitter this morning. You know Bob Odenkirk, the comic actor. He was Saul in Breaking Bad, and he's in Better Call Saul. There, he collapsed yesterday on the set of Better Call Saul. He's in the hospital. Somebody posted this video clip from a Netflix movie or show or whatever that he's in, and it's set in a restaurant, and it's this guy and his young daughter, and then Odenkirk's character is sitting at the next table. And the father says, "Oh, you know, there's no ice cream because it's cold outside. Like you can't make ice cream when it's cold because all the ice cream machines freeze up." And he's like looking over at Odenkirk and he's like winking at him, going, "Isn't that right?" And so
to get his daughter not to have dessert,
he weighs it. He just jumps into the deep end of this whole thing. It starts off with, like, you and I are good friends, right? Odenkirk says this to the dad. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm rich." And he has to back him up. "Yeah, I got a beautiful wife, and I have all the classic cars. In fact, I have doubles of some of them. I have triples of some of them." And he just like keeps pushing it and pushing it and pushing it because of the white lie about the ice cream. The dad has got to keep agreeing, and he's like in considerably more pain. I'll try to, if I can go back.
White lie for white lie blackmail.
Oh my God. It's like, it's so cringe. Because
but people do that.
And
I guess, if you're only one of these 21 things, I guess there's habitual liars too, or people that just like aren't confident or don't communicate well, or get, you know, because there's other reasons for lying than just self gain.
Right.
You know, nerves. People just aren't good at communicating. They're scared. A fear of being vulnerable.
Also sparing other people's feelings.
For sure, there's quote unquote good times to lie. Yeah.
There's some excellent times to just. It's really, you know, people talk about lies of omission, I guess is really what it is. And I'm 100% behind that, as long as the outcome isn't, you know, negative for everybody.
I do everything in my life with like the tiers of people. You know, if you're way out here in the acquaintance, you're going to get a bunch of omission lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you don't need to know.
You don't need to know. The intent's not going to be there. I know the ripple effect won't be there, but like if you're my wife, I'm not married. If you're my wife, the omission lies will probably turn into something not good.
Oh, Mike could be lying, and he might have a wife out there somewhere.
We'll find out at Esther 21.
Yeah, just like come right up. All right, so question number 2. Do you act impulsively? And this is the same scale, always, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
This is where a bunch of these tests, and I probably have either done it in my head or read about this stuff or done it in therapy. I'm like pretty boring. I got like no impulsiveness or spontaneity in me.
None, huh?
I don't know. I'd like some, but I don't have much.
This topo is burping me so hard.
Dude, I love it. It feels good, though.
So you're saying
I would say,
never?
Half a step up from never, in between.
Rarely.
Probably not even rarely. You know me, I'm boring as shit.
You're
I take too long. It's taken me 2 years to get a dog. It took me 5 years to choose a house, 3 years to choose a car.
Yeah.
I can't just be like, fuck it. Even though I was a little spontaneous Saturday, I almost just went and bought a SUV.
Oh.
But then the dollars come up, and then I was like,
I don't know if I need to do that.
I don't need it this bad.
I'm a planner. I'm a painful planner. My wife and I hadn't had a headboard for more than 10 years because we couldn't decide on one.
Yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah, we finally bought one. I finally said, you know what? I don't care. This one's good enough. Let's just buy it. Like, our living room furniture needs to be changed out, but furniture's terrible to buy right now.
Yeah,
and
everything.
Yeah, it's just, and really the issue with it is that it's like 3 different shades of brown leather. So,
yeah,
because we didn't buy them at the same time. But is matchy in right now? I don't think so.
I don't know either. Yeah, I think part of the issue is my anxiety. Being too spontaneous leads to more fear and anxiety of the future.
Yeah.
So like doing crazy shit. Yeah. So I'm a 0 there.
Okay. So do you fail to plan ahead? Same scale. Always, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
Right. Like think ahead of like perhaps what your actions or repercussions. No, I fucking overthink the future.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you consistently fail to fulfill work obligations?
I go through phases, but I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty on top of my shit.
have a theory about that kind of thing. If there's any kind of ego challenge to following through on something, if you get an ego hit from somewhere else, a negative ego hit from somewhere else, it will postpone your ability to perform that thing because you just don't think you can do it.
Yeah, the follow through.
Yeah, and it may not have anything to do with the actual thing. It's just like it just bugs you. Yeah. It's just like I don't want to deal with that.
And obviously we know this is for like sociopaths, so like relating it in my head when I hear that question, it's more the fact that Jim asked me to do something or I need to do something for my team and I think what I want to do or I am more important than that, and so I don't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a dismissive thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't do work stuff because their shit doesn't matter. Like you need a report from me so you can do your job. I'm not going to do that report because I don't think your shit's important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than like an ADHD or a stress thing where you procrastinate or something totally different.
So we're going to say never on that one?
I would probably say never, yeah. I mean, if it comes up, it's just because like my, mental health or something's fucked up or I'm busy. But I think I'm pretty on top of it. Do they score you at the end of this thing?
Yes.
They'll throw you on a bell curve?
Yeah.
All right. And we're just doing me? Yeah, this is great. The world will know I'm fucked up.
Do you consistently fail to fulfill financial obligations? That's always, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
I'd probably say rarely, never. I'm pretty neurotic with things of that nature.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I get fear. I get like fear of.
Yeah. It's
yeah.
Like, like the CPA hasn't billed us for the second installment of our shit that's going on right now. And I'm like.
Yeah. Which isn't even your financial issue, really, because you're waiting for an invoice, but you're still, like, scared.
Yeah. And like, did I get an invoice and it went to my spam? You know?
I think like that, too. That's the best thing that technology's done for me is, like, obviously, like, reoccurring or prepay shit. Like, I just set up everything big on a reoccurring thing. Otherwise, I would freak. I remember my dad used to just go in the office for, like, I don't know, it felt like 6 hours, like, once a month, and just file bills and fucking write checks. I would die. I would die, cry, shit myself, and disappear.
Yeah, I only have a couple of bills that I pay manually.
Yeah,
most
I could
everything
never.
Is auto. Although sometimes that stuff doesn't work the way you expect for it to.
For sure, and you can
inside our bank account.
Yeah,
the tracking there is just wrong. It's just flat wrong, and so it tells me that I haven't. Sometimes it tells me I haven't paid, and sometimes it tells me that I don't have to pay for a couple of months.
Yeah,
and one of those is wrong, and the one that's wrong is that I have something due because
you're behind.
I discovered that I have over the last year I probably accidentally made like maybe 5 or 6 extra house payments.
Oh yeah. Well, at least you're ahead and not
it's
behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But like,
if things were tighter, it would not be okay.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. If things were tighter and I was paying more attention, I would have looked at the other screen. It shows me all the history of payments. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Shit like that gets a little confusing. Looking for me, like most of my big ones send me like basically a receipt. Like, hey, your thing's going through next Tuesday, and then it says your shit went through, and so then I just kind of know.
Right. Have you ever engaged in criminal behavior? And here's the question:
we're really exposing me out today.
How do you? Damn, that stuff is going to burn me to death. How do you define criminal behavior in this context?
I guess anything that goes against the law, which is a whole deeper conversation for another
like,
podcast. Law rules versus morality.
Do you ever drive over the speed limit?
Right. I would say rarely, never, because sure, there's probably a stop sign I rolled and a speed limit I hit, but I'm not.
I would say never, because those are
Yeah.
a traffic violation.
Yeah.
Is not really a
Offense.
criminal
True.
behavior. It's
True.
It's breaking the law, but it's not.
Even
like
that definition's silly, right? Like, I think if you're like up to like 20, 30 miles per hour over the speed limit, it's just a thing. But then you go like double the speed limit, and it is a criminal offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which obviously makes sense because it gets more dangerous. But my point is, is that the same as like stabbing someone for fun on the weekend?
Do you find yourself unable to empathize with others dealing with difficult situations?
No. I find myself empathizing too much with other fucking folks and not worrying about my own shit.
Okay, well, here's where we're going to diverge a little bit, because as I get older, I actually am I'm less empathetic to other people's problems.
I think that's good.
If I think that they contributed to their problems.
I think that also goes to my story of like the circle thing. Like if it's an acquaintance way out there.
And
you can judge it like more evenly because you're emotionally detached. Although I think you, Jim, are very empathetic. Someone on your outer circle, you can judge more, even keeled.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, like you just said, you could see like, all right, did they fucking cause this? Deal with it.
Yeah. If somebody gets hit with something that they had no control over, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that as I get older, there's sometimes I just don't feel anything about whatever.
I need that. Send me some of that juice. I found, and it's a kind of a recent thing, is that actually my 20s and 30s are probably like more anxious and emotional than my teens, which is like way backwards.
That's really backwards, yeah.
They're different.
Yeah.
I was a rager in my teens. I was an angry boy, but now I'm like that. Yeah, I don't know.
You know, this is off the topic, but it's not entirely off the topic. What I find in my life, especially when I was younger, because I looked even younger. I looked like really young for a really long time. That people didn't want to hear what I had to say because they thought I was too young.
Yeah, just dismissed you.
Yeah, just completely dismissed me. Or if I got a little bit angry about something, then people, because it was not my normal way, they would be more freaked out, and it would have more impact, and that's probably still true.
Even in like depending on the setting, a team setting, a group setting, like I find that those loud whiners, they do get the attention and like respect.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I've just never been that guy, which sucks sometimes. Well, so yeah, for me, never.
I'm just going to note that I just got a message that our friend Ryan Cove is watching us in, I think, Vietnam.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Right now. And he said, I'm watching the podcast live, and that white lie that turns into more white lies and then turns into a black lie is the story of a narcissist's childhood.
I've never heard of a black lie, but I get it. And I think what we really need to do is have Cove take this test if we want real goddamn answers of what's going on in this world.
This is the question, Cove. If you just go to SciComm.net.
Yeah,
and
send us your results, buddy.
Take the test, take the sociopathy test, and tell us what you think.
Yeah.
He was an undergrad psych major. So you're gonna say that
never,
you never,
no,
and
I got the opposite issue.
For me, honestly, it's sometimes, but as I get older,
we need more iPads so I could be doing your test.
It's not always true. Yeah, we need to buy some more iPads. Not always true, and it was not always true of me. But as I get older, I was like I don't know. I think too that I transfer some of that emotion, like I hold it, and then something else will bring it out. And if I become upset, it's not just the thing that's in front of me. It's like a whole bunch of stacked up stuff that I was just being numb about.
Yeah, I think any time you get more experience in anything, you gain a callus, right? Like lifting more, you gain more calluses on your hands. Like you get tougher and tougher. So like the more things you've experienced other people going through or doing, you're going to decipher it through a different lens over time. The first time you see someone go into debt or something, and you're like, damn, they lost their house, they lost their this. You're like, oh, fuck, dude, poor Jimmy. You know? Like his credit cards, his fucking family, he's got no money. But the 10th time you see it, like, well, Steven was gambling every weekend and buying $200 French fries, he deserves to go broke.
You're kind of teasing out an element of it that I hadn't really thought about before, but I think it is part of my thought process. What can I do about it? And if the answer is I can't do anything about it, then I need to not
let go. I struggle with that. Yeah, I struggle with. I got control issues. I think that's probably why I'm somewhere on this sociopath thing. I want to control shit. I can't.
We'll see.
I just want to control shit for a good reason. I think.
We're having. My wife is telling me that she had to go to work, which is not something that ever happened. So there must have been something bad. If you hurt someone else's feelings, do you lack remorse or guilt?
No, I would say rarely.
Never me.
I'm like the second one. I'm the second one because
rarely.
Mine depends on the circle.
Right.
My emotion depends on where I view you in my life. You know what I mean? Like, because some people I literally just don't give a fuck about.
Yeah,
I think, and I'm
rightly so.
Yeah, and I think I'm stupid and pathetic, but like, I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, I worry about offending people. I don't want to offend people, but at the same time, like, I also don't want to be in a position where I have to be untruthful to them.
I'm going to be me
in a way that hurts me just to save their feelings.
Right.
I don't think I have that.
That's where I'm not going to white lie for these folks way out here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cross who I am or what I do.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I would say the one up from never.
Okay. Are you aggressive?
I used to be real aggressive. I don't think I'm aggressive anymore. I think we've probably, if you listen to every podcast we've ever done, you could probably put my story together better, you know?
That's probably true.
But we're
coming up on 8 years.
Yeah, but I basically killed that guy.
Yeah.
Or life stomped him out. He's gone. But he used to be full force. Yeah, he used to be that guy. I'm just lucky it happened when I was like 18, 19, 20, where I think a lot of young men have to do it when they're 25, 26, 27. You know what I mean? There's 30-year-olds in bars every weekend getting in dumb fights over chicks or stepping on my shoes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have 1,000,000,000% been me.
Yeah.
But I just, life kind of stomped him out early, which is good. So no, you know me. I think I've blown up once publicly in the last 12 years. And that was on Dan. I almost killed him.
And now he's your roommate.
Yeah, and we were good friends then too. He was like it was more like a little brother thing, but I lost control and almost killed him. I wanted to kill him. I didn't almost. I wanted to.
It crossed your mind.
No, yeah, 100%. I was just waiting for him to do something, and he was going to die. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's 1 in 12 years for a guy with rage issues. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
There's a lot of instances where I potentially could have killed someone along the way, and I didn't.
And you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gold star.
Yeah. Claps in the chat for me, boys.
Do you engage in unnecessary risk-taking or dangerous behavior with no regard for the safety of yourself or others?
So in terms of like activity, probably not, right? I'm not riding motorcycles off ramps and shit. But we've talked about it on here too, and I brought it up in many a podcast that other people have me on when they talk about us opening a gym in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about, and my therapist mentioned this once too, the Abandula Malagata in your head. I made that up. But, some part in your brain you have this fear of failure.
Oh, yeah.
And they have that rock climbing documentary from a local cat. Do you remember that? And he climbed El Capitan, I think, with nothing.
Yeah.
Free climbed that thing. And they studied his brain, and they said, yeah, you just don't have this. It's not lighting up that you're going to fall and die.
He does his medulla oblongata is not.
Yeah. It's not.
It's suppressed.
Sure. Mine's that sometimes with like work risks or money. But I'm not like buying reckless things. But it didn't faze me once to open this gym.
It fazed me a lot, but I was willing to go through with it because it's a positioning thing. It makes sense to be positioned to come out of a pandemic and be able to be well positioned for whatever. It actually, I mean, historically, times of great risk are times
100%.
of great leverage.
100%.
And so that's a good reason why to push that forward. I don't think of this as being. This is not the biggest risk anybody's ever taken.
I guess for me, I had a huge coming to in my late 20s, and this is going to sound stupid because everyone's like, yeah, that's how life works, but I didn't think this way or work this way, that every choice I make, I can just as easily make a choice to undo or redo or switch directions right away.
Yeah.
I used to put more weight into choices. And so a choice like being reckless, and I imagine this conversation or this question has to do with that, like, yeah, I'm not riding my motorcycle at 200 miles per hour with no helmet. Because that choice, you can't quite switch as soon as the road gets slick.
Yeah.
Right? But this gym, we can always counteract what's going on.
Yeah.
We can turn it into a Zumba gym. We can turn it into a fucking kids PE gym. Like, there's always moves to make. And that gives me a lot of confidence taking risks in my personal life or business life, if that makes sense. So I don't know where that fits into this question because it's not, like, physically detrimental to me. But some of them could be. They're a little that's where the only spontaneity lives in me.
So you're going to say rarely?
I would say, or like dead middle maybe.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself superior to others?
So this, I think, is what started me taking these tests. I honestly, in my soul, sometimes I do. I really do. And I know that sounds so bad, and I can't hide it, and there's no explanation, but I honestly have always known that I'm special. And I don't think it's because my parents gave me that participation award, but I know I'm better than most at many things. And collectively, I'm better.
See, I cannot argue with you on that point. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And
but superior is a different word too.
Yeah, superior. Like, do I think that people are? Some people are fucking inferior.
But
sorry.
I don't.
They are.
I don't know.
I can't fix that for them. I can't be responsible for that.
I guess superior makes me think that it makes me superior goes hand in hand with entitled. Like, I automatically deserve something because I'm superior, right? Like, I should automatically be president because
I don't think it that way. I think it's.
But I think I'm better.
It's yeah. Well, I think I know that I'm more capable than a lot of people.
Yeah,
and I know that I'm smarter than a lot of people.
Yeah,
I know that. I think we talked about this, but it's a study where they broke kids up into two categories and they gave them a test and whatever, and they said to one group they said you're really smart, and the other group they said you tried really hard.
Yeah.
And the tried really hard groups always did better.
Right.
Ultimately, they finished school and
100%.
they were better grades and all that stuff.
Yeah, because you sit on your loins otherwise.
Right. Yeah, you think, oh, well, I'm smart, and so I'll just skate this and it'll be fine. I've certainly been guilty of that a time or two along the way. I think that's all of us who feel, smart.
Well, and it's not like a negative thing from your parents or teacher to say that either. They're trying to encourage you, right? It's just a psychological thing we did not know.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to spoil you.
Yeah, and I tend to be a perfectionist about stuff too, and so letting go of things is sometimes harder for me.
Yeah.
But I said this on Twitter yesterday, and nobody paid any attention because that's what my Twitter looks like. But you don't want to be caught saying that's good enough one too many times.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got to categorize when and how you use that term. Yeah. There is place for it, but yeah, I think I do think I'm better. I think, but that comes from the confidence of not like only in like intelligence or capabilities. Like, I think I'm a really good human, and I don't think that's common anymore. And that's where I kind of rest that.
So are you gonna put that
second from the top?
Often.
Okay. Yeah, I don't always think I'm superior to you assholes listening, but sometimes.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm a sociopath.
Do you use charm or wit to manipulate others for your own benefit?
So these two questions are the ones that literally, because Kyle, we would be live streaming and we'd get in like a dumb argument or something, and I would just work my way around this. I'd take like half an hour to fucking wiggle my way into being right, and he would start to call me out, and again, I think no, because it's not for like real personal gain. A lot of times it was for a joke or to make a point or to win a silly argument, but it's not for me to get rich. It's not for me to get a Ferrari. It's not for me to put anybody else down. It's just for me. It's like a little ego boost.
So
I would say second from the bottom. Maybe.
So rarely. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, we're really exposing me here.
All right. They want.
I'm never like getting into the courts. I'm never fucking becoming a police officer. Not with this episode out there.
That was not going to happen anyway, but
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. I want a lowercase p. I have to put in a code here for whatever reason.
They're testing.
And then I'm going to have to give them an email address as well. Cause
to get our results, to put me on their emailing list so they'd bug me for the next 10 years. I'm not buying your product.
Well, you can use your work email. Do you have access to it on your phone?
Yeah, any of them's fine. We can send it to. Is that it? That's all the questions?
That's all the questions.
Oh, I didn't know I was done. Oh, here we go. We will get the results. I wonder if it'll throw me on the curve somewhere. Tell me what's up.
See if I can do this without. Oh, no. I want you to. Okay. What didn't I fill in? Oh, I skipped a question. Holy shit.
All right, let's go back.
Do you repeatedly lie to or trick others for your own gain or pleasure? We didn't ask this question, right?
No, but it seems very similar to the other ones. No, basically no. Because the minute you manipulate, if you're manipulating for your own self, you're probably lying in that manipulation, right?
I may have asked it and I just didn't.
Yeah, I would say no. I would say no. I don't lie too much.
Okay. Oh, you get a score. Here's your score. You ready? Okay. Little to no. Little to no. Low indication of antisocial personality disorder.
That's good.
Although you sometimes describe yourself as being
antisocial for sure, but I think
but what you're taking antisocial and you're smacking it on top of introverted.
Right, and also like antisocial as a descriptor, meaning that I don't like social things, is different than a disorder or like
jargon of a personality disorder. Yeah.
Right, or like like actually categorizing yourself, which I'm not, and it comes across so different because obviously in content I'm loud and whatever, which has nothing to do with it, but people put that into extroverted folks, and then also my capability to talk to people, small group, large group, one-on-one, is like one of my few talents. So then they automatically think that I'm enjoying myself or I'm gaining energy from that, and I'm not. I used to do a lot of seminars or travel the nation especially and do these big events with a lot of people, and I would literally get sick as fuck afterwards, and it's purely from, I know it's just energy drain. Just being around that many people, being quote-unquote on, would kill me week after week after, like the worst flus I've ever had or whatever, just pure exhaustion.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Every single trip. And then I didn't realize the pattern. I used to think like, oh, jet lag or lack of sleep but like every single time. And then I started to pay more attention to my sleep, more attention to my food when I traveled and work out, and I would lock all those things in. I would still just fucking disappear.
Yeah, I never did seminars or anything this kind of on with this kind of stuff, but I did, plenty of expos.
Yeah.
And my issue was I just would lose my voice.
Yeah, I would definitely.
And I'd be tired in a way that's difficult to describe.
I feel like
for people who've never been on stage of any kind, because that's really what it is. You're on stage. You're not. You're projecting a version of yourself.
Yeah. Well, and so that even goes into like the lying or whatever. Right? Like I would never go to these expos and not be me. But I would also never go to these expos and not put my best foot forward when someone who supports me is meeting me for the first time.
Right.
So, like, I'm not going to sit there and necessarily act how I feel. I'm going to act the better part of me, but it's still me. Right. And so that's kind of, again, going to like omissive lies or whatever.
Right.
It's kind of in that spawn. But that wasn't for personal gain. That was to show genuine support for those that supported me.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. It's a weird thing, and it is sometimes hard to reconcile within yourself that people become fans of things you do because you do things in public.
Yeah. Yeah. This was actually a huge topic. I don't know if you want to skip the stuff and move into other things real quick. Tucker Carlson, I think, got approached in public.
Yeah.
And a guy was calling him out for some things he said or things he does.
Yeah.
And then other celebrities and other shows and other public figures on talk shows, The View and stuff, all showed their opinion on it. And then it goes to a further conversation of how these public figures or anyone in public should or should not be approached or confronted. And I think any time you put yourself out there and have any positive gain from doing something, that you have to take what comes with that. That's my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
there are borders. There are,
of
boundaries.
Of course.
Still.
But you set those on your own too, right? Like, you can't be Dwayne The Rock Johnson and then be stoked to go to your local or expect to go to your local grocery store and never get talked to.
No, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's being entitled, and I don't think he does that by any means. But you know what I mean. And that's obviously to scale. But and being confronted or being violent in public is way different. Even though Tucker Carlson wasn't, the guy wasn't violent. He was just calling his ass out, which I actually, in today's era, I actually think is better. Because some celebrities were saying like, no, that's what social media is for. I was like, no, that doesn't get anything done. No. And not that yelling at him in a gas station got anything done either. But I think confronting someone in person like, hey, Jim, I heard you said this. That's not cool. I think that's way more impactful for both of us to do it in person than me tweeting Jim like, hey, I didn't like what you said.
Well, I think it's a lot easier to bitch at somebody on social media.
And less gets done.
Yeah.
If I have a real argument to make, or a real statement to come back with you, right? I'm not talking about fist fights, of course, but a real thing. Hey, I saw you did this. I think that was irresponsible or blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen on Twitter.
No.
You know, like a real discussion or any change. But beside the point, I accepted going in public and having people open my doors to my life via YouTube and podcasts.
Yeah.
So then for me to talk to people is the norm.
Yeah. But at the same time, there's plenty of stuff that we haven't talked about that people want to know.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
Because we have made the call that they don't need to know
Yeah.
all the details of stuff, and things are some stuff is just obvious. You can figure it out.
Yeah, or it just wouldn't serve a purpose to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't need to just ramble on everything, even though I ramble a lot.
I'm going to actually just read these couple paragraphs from Psychology Today about narcissism, because we touched on narcissism a little bit, but that's not really the whole, that's not really all of sociopathy at all. Narcissists have a prominent place in the popular imagination. We use the label all the time. We call people narcissists. Widely deployed to refer to people who appear to be too full of themselves. There's a growing sense that narcissism is on the rise around the world, especially among young people, although most psychological research does not support this. Narcissism is properly viewed on a spectrum. A trait is normally distributed in the population, with most people scoring near the middle and a few on either extreme. The narcissistic personality inventory, which we did not take today, but that's something we can put on another episode if we decide to, developed by Robert Raskin and Calvin Hall, is the most commonly used measure of the trait. Scores range from 0 to 40, with the average tending to fall in the low to mid-teens. Healthy individuals who score somewhat higher may be perceived as exceedingly charming, especially on the first encounter, but eventually come across as vain. Such individuals may have awkward or stressful personal encounters, but still have a fundamentally healthy personality. And this is where we get into, ADD and all this stuff, where there are behaviors that are associated with those things.
Right.
But having a few of those behaviors doesn't make the diagnosis.
The core personality trait or the intent behind those aren't the same.
Yeah, there's if you are willing to put a bunch of half-naked pictures of yourself on Instagram, that doesn't necessarily make you a narcissist.
Yeah, you may just,
You may be a capitalist,
you know? Or, well, even still, every human
or
feels...
an exhibitionist, Every
human feels good with, good feedback. So if you post one skin-type photo and everyone likes her, says how good-looking you are, you're going to want to continue to do it because that feels good.
Yeah.
Feeling good isn't narcissistic by any means.
Yeah, it just you can be a serotonin junkie and
100%. Yeah, I think that's more of what is changing in young people or the internet or social media is our need for constant feedback, positive or negative.
Right.
Because you just get stuck in something. You just get stuck in stimulus.
Yeah.
Rather than getting stuck in actually turning into a narcissist per se. I have heard narcissism they think is in you and then brought out by certain parenting or teaching or whatever.
Yeah, we were talking about, I don't know, did we actually read this out loud? Or
you did a
on
little
show, bit. That sociopathy, being a sociopath, is probably something you're born with, whereas
psychopathy and narcissism may be a little bit more nurture,
more inflicted on you, by whatever,
brought out of you.
And narcissism, I think, is got to be similar to that, where you might have some propensity to it, but we're only talking about 200,000 people, right? I mean, that's what the statistics say. That
not in the world. In the world.
In the U.S., I think.
Yeah, that's
true narcissism is actually rare. Narcissistic behavior is all around us all the time.
Yeah, someone's a little too selfish or vain. That's another reason I know I'm not in these things. I just don't think I'm that vain.
Yeah,
that's never something I've been called.
We can say this one another time, but I was looking at an article about how to deal with a narcissistic boss.
Yeah, which is I was talking to a bunch of people, Dan's brothers and other people. Like, that's just kind of part of it, right? Because they say the percentage of narcissist or narcissistic traits go way up with the CEO. And so any exec or any bigger company or smaller company you get involved with, chances are the person above you, and the more levels you go up above you, it starts to probably lean more to the right of that bell curve.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to deal with those traits, and then it's just, if it's extreme, they probably have no empathy there. As the narcissism goes up, the empathy goes down.
Yeah.
And so they literally can't or don't care.
Yeah. And the only thing they really care about is themselves.
You can be selfish and then have troubles sleeping at night. Man, did I do Jim wrong? Is that bad? What happened? If you're on this disorder thing, you're not blinking an eye.
Yeah.
Just not on the next one. You're just going to do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
To different people. Yeah.
Scary.
It is scary, actually. That kind of stuff, like psycho stuff, scares me more than probably anything else. The silent killers.
I would agree. Shall we bring this one in?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, new drop coming real soon. Stay tuned. 3sb.co, 3rd Street, 3RD, on Barbell on Instagram. I'm Silent Mike. Everyone to find me. I appreciate you guys so much. Share this thing out on Twitter and Instagram. Love to give you a retweet or refollow or whatever. Thanks for all the support. A lot of good stuff coming. And I'm stoked on our content lately, and so hopefully you guys are too. Next week we're going into documentary A-Team. It's not A-Team. That's fucking Ice-T or some shit. It's the it's something Team A or something about the gymnastics scandal in the Olympics or the U.S. gymnastics team. And so if you guys want to watch ahead, go ahead and watch it, and we'll be covering it next week.
I'm gonna have to look that up so I can see what you called it.
I called it the A-Team, but it's something very similar. Gymnastics documentary. Athlete A.
Athlete A. Okay.
So Athlete A, ladies and gentlemen, check it out. If you want to watch beforehand, I don't know what you guys like listening to our dumbasses or yourself, but check it out, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
I am at the Jim McD on all the social medias. This show is 50% facts, but percent is word, and numbers. I don't know, something like that. Yeah. Just you can find.